Alright, and it does. We do have a visual now. So looks like we are about ready to go. And as you can see, incidentally, talking about the bars we talked about earlier, the control bar is a lot larger for Deepwater than it is for insurance fraud. And that is again because they have a curse. They have Mollusk, so there's two E-War boats, and the curse is a really strong E-War boat. Whereas on the insurance fraud, the red team side, they don't really have any E-War built in, so their control bar isn't quite as big.
What they do, however, have is the ability to remove enemy control. Those harpies are just going to do some serious damage to those mollusks. And you'll note the tacklers, the small tacklers for the blue team are just Tech 1 frigates. They're going to die a lot quicker than those assault frigates on the red team.
Indeed, and
And
we're
the
on.
match has started.
See where they're moving. They're just getting up to speed now.
Yep, we've got both teams appear to be holding off, and actually there's a dash being made by the red team. We have Array of Silverstone and a Harpy burning right towards that blue team.
Yeah, it looks like him, and now the other one, Zorod, as well, burning in. But the curse already put the half shields. Just one volley, probably, from Macariel or Varger caught a piece of him. He didn't get his transversal up high enough. He's taking more damage. He really needs to be burning at a perpendicular angle to those guys and tracking, disrupting them, and hoping to stay alive. I'm guessing he's going to be armor fit, actually, with Oneros in that setup, which it makes me cringe a little bit, but that's, again, I'm a bit of a curse fanatic, so...
Yeah, it appears that initial dash by the frigate was just a feint. As soon as he was starting to take damage, he just turned around. So every time that happens, that's wasted damage from the enemy team.
Indeed, all three Harpies are kind of split off into a fork here, coming at the blue team. They're actually they're kind of screening in front. They're hanging out in front. They're not really burning at or away. They're just kind of holding there. And here comes one of the Punishers. So that's basically what they want to do. They want to keep the tackle off of their team and hope these Punishers come in and die to the Harpies. Meanwhile, the Curse is bleeding into armor. The Oneros looks like he's pulling him back some, and we have our first Punisher taking damage.
Yeah, it appears the tracking disruptors has been put on the Harpy of Zorro, which is a very interesting choice. It would have been a lot more sensible to put those on the Macariel and the Varger. So a lot of DPS is getting through onto this curse. But the Punisher is also taking some serious damage. However, he is being repped by the Aeneas and is holding.
It is, yeah, it is interesting to see already who he's tracking disrupting there. I would think he'd be more worried about the big autocannon boats, but perhaps they're relying on sig tanking as the sacrilegious.
Yeah, or perhaps they're listening to the stream because I just saw a tracking disruptor go onto the Macariel or Blue Melon.
Well, the Curse is holding on in armor. The Oneros is doing a good job of keeping him up. He's taking damage. It just stands to see whether or not he's going to get kind of volleyed through. You can't really buffer a Curse that well, but you can buffer it all right with armor. You know, using speed and your E-War is really how you keep all those alive. He is moving at about 1,200 meters a second, so he's got his transversal up, and he's trying to outrun the tracking, I think. We're finally seeing a little bit of damage go down across the field on the red team. The Harpy is just taking a little bit of shield damage here, but nothing significant on any of their larger ships.
Yep, drone-wise, we've got a swarm of red Hammerhead 2 drones out here, and on the blue team we have a mixture of light attack drones, Hobgoblin 2s, and armor repair drones. And damage is being switched over a couple of targets on the blue team. This could be to try and just mess with the cycle repping of the Aeneas. And I'm sure they're going to be trying to get some damage onto that curse again. He really needs to go down.
Yeah, the Curse is really effective in shutting down ships. You know, people wonder about the Curse and think it's maybe not as powerful as some, but in a small gang situation like this, you can really take out a couple ships. I mean, in this case, autocannon's not as effectively, right? But the neutralizers will take out any sort of cap-hungry turrets very easily, and the tracking disruptors, especially with an armor fit, he can have up to 4 of them. So he could legitimately have 2 tracking disruptors on each of those autocannon boats, rendering them basically useless outside of, say, 10 or 15 kilometers. And that may be what's going on right now.
Yeah, right now the teams are relatively close to each other in the arena. They're all within about 30-40 kilometers, although they are starting to spread out. The battleships are gaining a little bit of range. I presume they're going to do that to try and help their tracking. The boat, Array of Silverstone and his Harpy, he's down. First loss of the match goes to Deepwater, who have... Yeah, oh, never mind, sorry, it was a Mollusk. A Mollusk is down.
And the Punisher, Modified Beast, is really, he's clinging on to low armor right now, but he's taking a pounding. Looks like he's got 2 Harpies on top of him, and he's just getting beat on pretty hard. But his armor is pulling back. The Oneros is doing a good job of keeping him up. Meanwhile, the Oneros is taking a little bit of damage now. He's bled into armor.
Yeah, that's certainly going to mess with that pilot. It's one thing repping away and keeping your ships alive, but when you start taking damage and you need to start looking at other modules, the multitasking involved quickly becomes difficult. And we see some massive damage going to Jamie's score, the Harpy, and he's down.
Indeed, they put a little bit of pressure on him and then burst right through the Scimitar's reps. So
And another
modified
Harpy down.
just right off the field, and Zoro, yep. Zoro is half armor now and going down. You see the Scimitar pulling back some shields, but not enough. He just gets volleyed once the damage got on top of him. So I guess at this point the Sacrileges have decided that they're holding okay. Let's just go in and start blowing things up.
Yeah, things have turned around really quickly in this match. We now have all 3 Harpies down for the Insurance Fraud team, and only a Maul is down on the Deepwater team. We've got many ships in damage, but nothing looks like it's going to break on that team anytime soon.
It appears they're chasing the Flycatcher. Looking at these ships on the blue team, they see them running after the Flycatcher. There's drones applied to it, and you just start seeing damage coming down on it. It's interesting. They're taking out all the light ships first.
It makes sense. If they can get rid of those light ships, get rid of that tackle, then they've got 2 Macarios sitting there and a Scimitar. They're basically going to be dead in the water. The Curse is going to have removed all their cap. They're going to be tracking Disrupted. They won't be able to touch anything. All that Curse will just do is orbit them. You don't even have the Captain Mike Warp Drive and chase them. When that happens, it'll just be a matter of mopping up and bleeding through.
Well, the question is going to be how effective they're going to be able to be against the Vargar and Macarial when it comes down to it. I mean, the Macarial is probably not going to tank that hard, but Vargar, as we know, can tank really, really hard with ASB setup, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they're going to have to push him into reload cycle to break him, having tested against them a bit. They really are kind of beefy.
What you need to remember, though, I mean, he's got shield harners, and without cap, those shield harners are going to go offline, so the effectiveness of his ancillary report is going to be dramatically reduced.
That is the truth. So, you know, Nero's still holding on at 3/4 armor. It looks like he's pulled out the range, so he's not really taking any more damage. He's decided that he didn't want to be sitting too close anymore.
Yeah, they're still plunking away at that Curse, though. He's just bleeding into armor, then being rep back, bleeding in and rep back. I can't help but feel that there could have been something different here the red team could have done. They could have switched targets more, tried to really work away at the micromanagement of that Neros, just make a mistake. And we see massive damage now onto the Scimitar for the red team, which is the logical next target.
Indeed. He's out to ASB fit. He's pulling back big chunks of the shield, but they'll either burst through it or simply wait for him to reload and blow him up. Scimitar does not have much buffer to survive a reload cycle, so it's just a matter of time before he's down. Except the Flycatcher,
right on top of him,
has managed to run away, has gotten rep back up to full. Scimitar in one last gasp of a little bit of effort.
Yep, no more ancillary. I would go one more rep, but he is in half armor now. He's not going to hold on for much longer. He's tackled. He has the entire team beating on him. He'll be down Charlie. Then after that, will they go for the Flycatcher, who appears to be quite easily kiting if he wants, or will they go for one of the larger ships?
You know, the Vargar looks like it's taking a little bit of damage. I don't know if that's somebody's drones has hit it by accident, or somebody got a little trigger happy on the secondary, but it could be that he's going to be the next primary. We'll see.
Yeah, that Scimitar, he's just about to breed. And he's down. The Scimitar is down. So now we have 3 Sacrileges, 2 Punishers, a Curse and a Neros versus only a Vargar, a Macarial and a Flycatcher.
Well, these 3 Sacrileges should be able to pick apart. If it's me, I'm going for the Macarial next, just because Macarial is going to be not nearly as tanky as a Vargar. It's going to have more damage than a Vargar, at least more mobility. Just to me, it seems like a better primary if you can tackle it.
Exactly. It's also less likely to have extra nasty things in its high slots, like smart bombs and nukes and things like that. And they have made that choice. They're right on top of that Macarial now. No finesse here, no messing around. They're just right on top of them at 0 and melting.
Yeah, the Oneros is still taking damage, so the Insurance Fraud team is desperately trying to pull some points away from this match, but I don't think they're going to get through that Oneros. I mean, he's about 1/3, 1/4 armor right now and still bleeding, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough fast enough.
Yep, unfortunately points is about the only thing they're going to get from this match. It is well and truly over for the red team. This looks like it's going to be a technical but a good victory for Deepwater. It was at the start of the first couple of minutes, it could have gone either way. I feel there's certainly things that FC of the red team could have done to certainly mess things up for the enemy logistics. But
well, that's where
the
strategy comes into play a lot, and especially those first couple minutes of a match. A lot of times you see not much happening because the teams are kind of filling each other out, getting an idea of what do you think they're going to do, feinting around, and then all of a sudden one thing happens and the whole thing collapses. And here we see the Macarial bleeding into structure. Macarial's time is up; it will be gone. Yoneros is about to bleed structure as well, so we'll see if he does go down, but I don't think so. Once this Imperial's off the field, that's a significant portion of their DPS down. So it's just a Vargar and a Flycatcher now.
Yep. And they're converging on those ships right now.
It's interesting, the Yoneros is in structure, but he's pulling back armor, and I'm guessing rep bots. Let me look here.
Yep, there's medium armor repair bots on the field.
Curse has quite a significant drone bay for utility. I know in mine I run medium, light, and medium ECM drones and have a couple flights to spare, so it's not a bad choice to throw some medium rep drones in a Curse.
Yeah, there is tackle on top of the Flycatcher Faffer now, and he's melting. He's going down really quickly. Once he is down, all that will be left is the Vargar of Sergeant Ante.
I'll be curious to see how well these 3 sacrileges can pick apart a Vargar, but did he... Is that a boundary? What?
It appears that the tool has decided to move them off the field.
Okay, well, a bit of a technical difficulty there, but the match was as good as over. And incidentally, it is worth mentioning... Oh, time has ended. That would explain it. Okay. I need a stopwatch here. Incidentally, it was mentioned to us that the bands were wrong on the overlay. Just so you know, so we need to sort that out, but not a technical difficulty. Time was over.
Yep, and that's the end of the first fight. In the second match, the teams are Deepwater versus Insurance Fraud, and the victors of this first fight are Deepwater.